I always seem to say that, right? Yeah, we've already
thinking that she's Amaya because it sounds like that when you say it.
Amaya, Anuma, and Sharanya over here in the studios. Hello. We have already discussed many parts, categories of Sharanya's career so far.
Yeah.
We've already finished discussing the blogging part as well. So now, Amaya and I were discussing her point of getting into Toastmasters.
Yeah,
so why don't we go ahead about that?
Communication is something that's vital, I guess, in any sphere, and especially when you work with people who are from all areas of the country and all walks of life. Communication then becomes crucial. And you mentioned earlier that during the break that Toastmasters actually changed your life.
I know, no, it really did. As an organization, it's completely transformed me. A lot of us don't underestimate the difficulty of getting up there and giving a speech. You know, I think there's a statistic which says that people fear public speaking more than they fear death. So at a funeral, most people would rather be in the casket than be giving the eulogy.
All right.
So that's how petrified people are of public speaking. But it's such a vital tool, because once you reach a certain point in any career, in anything that you're doing, you have to be able to give a presentation, even if it's just to 10-15 people. So much harder than you think it is.
Very true.
So Toastmasters facilitates your public speaking and your leadership. I joined the
How did
organization.
you get involved? Yeah, exactly.
I did the youth leadership program, which is sponsored by Rotary, when I was about 14, and it kind of I met some wonderful Toastmasters. And then when I joined APIT, I continued my friendships with some of these Toastmasters through the years. And then when I joined APIT had a Toastmasters club. At the time, it was the youngest club in the country. And he was the president at the time. He was a good friend of mine, and he basically bullied me into coming for meetings. And he would be like, "No, you should."
So you didn't really want to go?
No, not that I didn't. I mean, I was a convert of Toastmasters, and I believed in the organization. But it's so much more than believing in it and then actually taking that step to go for meetings and be involved and just like
make speeches.
Yeah, and then you're like, I don't want to. But so Arshad, who's now a very good friend of mine, basically said, no, you have to come. It's important. And I did. And now he looks back and says, told you so. So many people in my life who say that hindsight. But so then I did, and now I'm the president of APIT Toastmasters. And I've competed several times. It's an incredible organization, because it is one of the few training organizations where you learn from each other. So I think I was saying earlier that
about
peer-to-peer learning. So one thing in Toastmasters to me that really stands out is, we have to give evaluation. So when you give a speech, whether it's impromptu speech or prepared speech, it's a member from your club or a Toastmaster who'll evaluate you and tell you how they think you did. So you learn two things. One is you learn to take criticism very gracefully, because there's someone up there telling you what they think you did wrong or what they think you did right, and you need
to smile and say, okay, I accept that.
Thank you for destroying all the work that I did for the past 2 weeks. But also, the whole purpose of evaluations, and you are trained for this, and this is repeated over and over again, is you have to encourage the person. It is meant to be moralizing, not demotivating. So you learn to give criticism gracefully, which I think is a skill which is very difficult to acquire. It is much more difficult to give criticism constructively, especially sometimes you have speakers for the first time who are bad. Like there's no other way to put it. But I've witnessed this in my club with people I have mentored, with people I've been mentored by. You start off with these incredibly nervous people who can barely string 2 words together in their first speech. That's how you start. And with the right guidance and the right appreciation, I've seen speakers who they're unrecognizable. You see them 5-6 speeches later and you're like, wow. It's amazing.
So as a whole, from what age would you encourage people to get involved in Toastmasters and to really pursue that? Or any other club for that matter. I mean, there are several Gavel clubs.
Gavel clubs are for youngsters. Toastmasters is for 18 and above, so you have to be an adult to join. I say as soon as you're 18, join. I wrote a blog post about this, why as a young person, you should join Toastmasters, because when I first joined the organization, I was the youngest there by about 30 years. Like when you talk about, I was 19 or 20, and it's much, because I mean naturally it's an older audience that appreciates these learnings and understands and goes for it. one thing was that I was very intimidated when I first walked in, because I was like, how do I start a conversation with someone who's like 45? Like, what are they? They're probably going to be like, please don't talk. Shh. Talk to me 20 years later.
Why do you think like that?
No, that was my first impression. I was like, oh God, no one's going to want to hear from me. Like, what can I possibly learn from? What can they possibly learn from me? That's one thing I learned in Toastmasters, that, you know, even the most, and especially the most senior Toastmasters and those who have achieved or blossomed the best in the organization are those who believe they can learn from everyone. So I've had senior Toastmasters with years and years of experience, you know, give a speech and then come up to me and say, okay, what do you think I did right? What do you think I did wrong?
Wow.
And I realized they are better people and speakers for taking all the learning that they can get. And the second thing you learn as a young person is that you get into this organization very early. So you learn how to deal with an older crowd. So you have a maturity level and a communication level which most of your peers won't have. And also you have much longer to gain from the organization than when you join as an older person.
There's no harm in joining at any point in your life.
No, not
but
at all.
If you are able to join when
But if you're
young,
able to join as a young person,
then definitely you should go for it, I'm sure. But what kind of speaker are you? I mean, there are some speakers who are very witty speakers. Like, when they start speaking the whole 7 minutes, you're just sitting there laughing, and they give their message quite clearly as well. I mean, Toastmaster Niranjan is someone...
He's a brilliant speaker, one of my favorites. Whenever he's up on the stage, I mean, you think about him and you laugh. Then you have, you know, I mean, Sri Lanka has produced some incredible speakers, incredible speakers. I don't know what kind of speaker I am yet. I've had different. I'm still developing. I'm still getting there. I think motivational is something I enjoy doing. I have this habit of quoting Martin Luther King all the time, which I've been told now. I've been told now, be like, no more, enough. I'm like, oh, I need a new person to quote, but. Yeah,
we haven't heard you quoting Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
what's your favorite?
Suddenly you're put on the spot and be like, I believe. No, I have a dream. Oh my God, I have a dream. I love that speech. I think it's one of the most stirring speeches of any decade.
Straight came from his heart. So I think that's the impact that it made.
Definitely.
But when it comes to people who have motivated you in life, and I'm sure like you have many, starting from your family, but when you do so, when you have so many, you know, different aspects to your life as well, who motivates you and who keeps you going?
Okay. I'm going to apologize in advance to people I've forgotten because I'm sure I'm going to forget people.
You can make it general.
Well, I mean, I have to say, obviously, and it's cliche, this is going to sound, but you know, my parents are incredibly supportive because I'm never at home. I'm always busy. I'm always tired, and you know, I'm running.
So they're the ones who get to see that side of it.
They get to see the you know, the completely cracked side of me. But you know, both my parents, even going into research, and I know, you know, it obviously when you have a law degree, you can walk into corporate and command a high salary. But you know, my parents never once said you could do this. Their first question was, both of them was, is this what you want to do? And I was like, yes. Then they're like, go for it, you know, we'll support you. So and I know it's not easy for parents to do that, you know, to actually let your kid run off and try all these mad things.
And most parents are not like that.
And you can't, I mean,
it's a very humbling privilege to have parents.
It is an incredibly humbling privilege. You know, my sisters are incredibly supportive. I fight with them a ridiculous amount.
Talk to us about your sister.
Yeah, so I
actually forgot to ask her about how they're involved in your work.
No, no.
You've been on TV, sisters.
So I have 3 younger sisters. So I grew up in this house of girls. Your father. Your poor father. He gets a great deal. You know, it's girls who take care of you later. You know, the sons go off.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm 22 and I'm still at home. I mean, he should be grateful. So I have 3 sisters. They're all younger than me. Yes. They're all 4 of us completely different personalities. We fight so much, but we're also very close, and we were always a little gang growing up. You know, the Sacrum girls were like, people would write us parties and we'd be like a party. Be like, oh, the 4 of them come, the kids table is sorted, 80% of the kids table. So
that's the thing about growing up with sisters.
It's amazing. It's wonderful. So I have to say they're very supportive because, you know, the people who push you the hardest are always the people who constructively criticize you the most, that would be my sisters. When they say, wow, you were amazing, I know I have to be like fabulous.
Yes.
If the rest of them are like, you were okay. We've seen you do better. I'm like, oh, okay. But they're very supportive, and you know, they always push me. They always say, you know, but you can do it. Yes, you can. And you know, they're very sweet, and they share things on Facebook, and I'm like, oh.
That's really that really hits you hard,
It
right?
really does.
Share,
A stranger. You know, when your little sister goes, I'm so proud of my big sister. I'm like, oh.
An entire status for me.
I'm just like, and there's a moment of your life for me.
That happens.
Yeah, no, but I'm very blessed with the family I have. They are incredibly supportive. They're completely crazy, but in an absolutely amazing way.
And outside of your family, are there other people who influence you as well?
Yeah, I have a wonderful extended family. I'm very close to my cousins. We have huge age gap, but I'm very blessed that with a lot of my family, my extended family, I have the relationship where it's not just relatives, but it's friendship as well. So, you know, that's something I didn't realize until recently, is not everyone has that. This extended family you can turn to. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have people like that.
Indeed.
I have Toastmasters, Auntie Shamala and Uncle Bertel, the heads of the organization, meeting them, and you know, they're my adopted parents, and meeting them, I have transformed completely as a person. They have really, really changed who I am and my capabilities and my abilities. They're two incredible human beings, and I'm very blessed to have them in my life.
And we had her on the show as well.
You've had Shamla on the show. Yes. And then in Toastmasters, I have wonderful mentors. Mr. Arunachalam Balraj, who is one of, we call him the godfather of Sri Lanka Toastmasters. He's been an incredible mentor and incredible support. And through the organization, I have met different people who, encourage you and push you. And I think being a good mentor to someone is that fine line between pushing them hard enough so that you know you get the best out of them, but not pushing them so much that they feel constantly pressured in your presence. And I have been ridiculously blessed with the people I have in my life.
No, it's always very comforting to have that kind of circle, the whole circle of encouragement around you.
That's true.
And I'm very lucky to have a great boss as well. Asanga Abhay Gunasekara is, he's very glad I work for him than anyone else.
She's not trying to get a raise now.
No. One.
We have to go a very quick break, right, Anupama?
Yes, we should. We should go into a very small commercial break, but we'll be right back with more of Sharanya.